we've seen a vulnerability now become manifest that people in the past had only speculated about, but now it's reality. The restriction on the Strait of Hormuz, and people are taking a hit right now. So it means that at a minimum, people are going to have to reconsider the whole concept of shipping oil through the Strait of Hormuz. We might be looking at in the future pipelines going into the Red Sea. We know Saudi Arabia has been working on that. And for nations like Kuwait, maybe a similar arrangement can be made, because this conflict, we don't know how it's going to end, first of all, but I don't believe it's going to end with the strategic defeat of Iran. I see the United States. I mean, Pete Hegseth can sit there and pontificate about the prowess of the United States military, but every night we see the missiles still raining down on Tel Aviv, on Haifa, on Israel, on the Gulf Arab states. So he hasn't solved that problem, and Strait of Hormuz continues to be have restricted access. Apparently, it's Iran that decides who goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and not the United States. Hegseth didn't solve that one, but they haven't changed the regime. You can kill as many people as you want to, but the fact is, Iran is a very resilient nation with institutions in place. The bombing is not destroying institutions. The bombing is just killing people, murdering people, and when you have to level a city block to get the person that you want, killing hundreds of people, it just shows the absolute depravity of the forces involved. So, again, Hegseth thinks he's up there talking about, things that make America look good. It makes America look evil. And there will be long-term consequences for this. The other reality is that the missile defense systems of the United States don't work. Neither do those of Israel. And if you're China and North Korea, you've suddenly realized that you own the United States now. I mean, in any future conflict, the United States has shown an absolute weakness. But on top of that, 1,000 targets a day. Hey, Pete, I used to do this for a living, pal. I'm here to tell you right now, about 90% of what you're hitting are empty buildings. I just know the reality of targeting. You are making stuff up. You have people out there right now desperately scouring for things to hit. You haven't done the research. You end up hitting a lot of things that have civilian content. It would make you a war criminal, because you're supposed to do the distinction before you bomb. It's a requirement of the art of war. I mean, it's in our law manual. Oh, that's right, the one that you say we don't abide by anymore because those rules of engagement get in our way. Well, Pete, it just again solidifies your status as a war criminal. There will be justice. You are going to be punished for the role that you played in slaughtering 175 Iranian children and murdering thousands of other Iranians. This is on you, Pete. You're the one who got rid of the institutions that would double check the targets to make sure that we didn't hit a school. Had you not dissolved the civilian harm mitigation response team back in March of 2025, had you kept that in as was required by the directive, we wouldn't have killed those kids, and our targeting would be lower. The numbers don't impress, Pete. The numbers don't impress. The results impress, and the reality is your results suck. I mean, why do you have people saying short-term pain? Why do you have people saying short-term pain if you're so damn dominant? It means there's pain. And so now you have people out there, and we know this isn't sound analysis. This is simple propaganda because of the way it's repeated over and over and over again by people reading off the same script, a script written by the same people who write your damn script, Pete. So, no, this war is not going well for the United States, and therefore it's not going well for the global energy security posture. Oil will never be the same after this. You're not going to be able to ensure shipping going through the Strait of Hormuz the way that you used to. And we still don't know how this plays out. We haven't got, hopefully we can get an off-ramp. I'm hopeful that, Pete's out there pontificating. It just means he's going to be fired. Pete doesn't understand how stupid he is. This is how stupid Pete is. He's out there cheerleading for a war we already lost. And so the president of the United States, who will not allow himself to be painted with Pete's incompetence, is going to fire Pete Hegseth. the war is going to be blamed on Pete. Pete lied to him. Pete misled him. Pete was a little this, a little too much that, and Pete's gone. But when this happens, we don't know. There's still, we are trapped by Pete's mouth and the president's stupidity. How we get an off ramp, I'm hopeful Russia and China can play a role in this. But in the meantime, we have escalation. We have Israel, starting to strike energy targets, which means Iran is going to retaliate with upping its energy attacks. And if the decision is made to seek to diminish Iran's ability to extract oil, I can guarantee you that all the energy producers in the region will likewise suffer. You see them already doing damage mitigation. Kuwait shutting down shutting down oil production. That's a long process that requires, maintenance of the oil fields, getting pressures done properly and everything. So the hope is that down the road you can bring it back up without, destroying too much of your proven oil reserves. Qatar has stopped the liquefaction of natural gas, and you're going to see the United Arab Emirates start to do stuff too, because they're paying a price right now. They're getting hammered. Saudi Arabia's got to take a look at what's going to be happening to them. We're talking about gutting an important part of the global energy production, posture. And again, oil will never be the same after this. I don't know if we're ever going to see oil drop down to where it needs to be. The instability right now is manifest, and we're going to pay a price. I mean, this. What is today? I keep forgetting. Today is what, Wednesday?
Wednesday, 18th of March.
On not this Monday, but a week ago Monday. Yeah. I filled up my gas tank, and it was $3.11 a gallon. I'm not a guy that drives one of those fancy cars and needs a super. I do the 87, octane, because I just have a normal car. But like most Americans, by the way. And today I went to fill it up again, and it was $3.79 a gallon. So just in the space of a little more than a week, we've seen the price go up, and this is just marine math, but I would tell me 68 cents a gallon. And it's going to get worse. But the real problem comes with diesel. If we start to see diesel getting priced out of economic logic, or not available, truckers. I mean, if truckers have to make a living, then the people who use trucks have to make a living, and basically there's a foundational expense associated with driving a big rig from point A to point B, and it's all priced into the goods they carry, which then is transferred to us as the consumer. So, when we go to the store, we're paying a certain amount of money for the food that's in the store. That food is priced based upon the cost of producing it, packaging it, shipping it, and selling it, and all the profit margins associated. If the price of diesel goes up, that gets factored in, and suddenly everything gets more expensive. And at some point in time, the supply chain is going to break down, where people who make a living say, "Well, we can't make a living. We're losing money on this proposition." So they stop, and then the system falls apart, and all the things that we take granted, that are available in stores at reasonable pricing, A, the pricing will no longer be reasonable, and B, it'll stop not being available. And that's a lifestyle adjustment too. I don't think the American people have reflected on how vulnerable we are to that kind of disruption. We just take it for granted. We hop in our cars, because we all live in suburban neighborhoods. Not we all, but most of us live in suburban neighborhoods where you can't walk to the store. The store's like 5 miles away. That's okay. Just hop in your car. Got that gasoline. You turn on the engine. You drive 5 miles. You go do your shopping. Everything's convenient because it's all brought to you in that location. And then you come home and you put it in your refrigerator and you stock your shelves. And ain't life easy? Life's going to get a lot more difficult when A, the gas costs a lot of money, and B, when you go to these stores, the shelves are empty. And there is no plan B. Sorry, you're the one it's like me. There is no plan B. If this system fails, I'm screwed. I'm in the middle of nowhere now, literally in the middle of nowhere. If I can't have gas to drive my car, I got to start walking. I mean, it's going to take me all day just to walk to, the nearest, store and then to shop and then bring it back. We have no clue. This is the short-term pain for long-term gain. What long-term gain? We're looking at the collapse of the global economy. Where's the gain? Do they not understand that Iran has won this war? That we're not getting rid of the regime? The regime will continue to exist, that we will quit before they quit. That's the reality. And the consequences of this are going to be manifest. It's not just going to be energy security. It's our military posture. There is a better than 90% chance that when this war ends, the United States will be evicted from the Middle East, not only by Iran's victory, but also because the Gulf Arab nations have lost confidence in the United States. We can't protect them. And we've lied to them. We've deceived them. We promised them this missile defense umbrella that doesn't work. We've made them buy billions of dollars worth of missile interception equipment that doesn't work. The Iranians right now are deploying missiles. I don't know if people are watching the videos. These babies maneuver right through the defense shield. I mean, it's actually beautiful to watch. This warhead come in and maneuver, and the interceptors miss it, and it goes right through, and then it comes down and hits the target. And as it comes down to the target, you see it making the adjustments because it knows what it wants to hit. And it sits there, goes boom, 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 bam, got it. It's a thing of beauty, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. Literally nothing we can do to stop it. And now the Gulf Arab nations have realized that they've bought into this false notion. And the other thing is, what we can do is replenish their stockpiles, but we're stripping. I mean, again, imagine being South Korea and you wake up one morning and America says, well, we're going to put the THAAD system on your soil. I don't want to put the THAAD system on my soil. That'll make me a target for China and North Korea. They'll be very angry. I don't want to do that. I want good relations. No, we're putting the THAAD there. It's good for you. Daddy says best. Don't worry. The THAAD, the Patriot, we give you this umbrella. You're going to be invincible, baby. Invincible. Trust me. America's here for you. We don't want it. You're going to get it. Okay. And then the Chinese go, we really don't like that. So we're going to build and move all our missiles around, aiming right South Korea. The Chinese are aiming missiles at us now. Don't worry. You got the THAAD, you got the Patriot, you got America. We're here. But the North Koreans are building new missiles. We got it, baby. We're America. We're awesome. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what problem in the Middle East? Israel needs THAADs because all their radars are blown up. Just a second. Yeah, pull all the THAADs out of South Korea, send them to pull the Patriots out of Japan. And the South Koreans are like, wait a minute. You pissed off the Chinese and the North Koreans. You brought a lot of missiles in. You promised us missile defense, and you just took it all away without even coordinating with us. That's literally what just happened. That's literally what just happened. And we did it to help Israel, not the Gulf Arab states. So the Gulf Arab states are going, man, you screw all your allies. And the Ukrainians are going, yeah, let me tell you about it, how they screw you. Nobody wants to be our ally after this. We're the worst. Look at Europe right now. I mean, hey guys, we need help with the opening the Strait of Hormuz. Sorry, not our war. Don't want to have anything to do with it. Well, that may have sunk NATO, which actually is the silver lining in the cloud. But the point is, we are looking at a world that's going to be transformed by this conflict. And I will remind you, it was a war of choice. We didn't have to go to war. There was no reason for us to go to war. And this is a war that is changing the world, but also change American politics too. Because I do think, again, I mean, there's a slim chance that Trump pulls off, because the American people are fundamentally the dumbest people in the world about everything, about the world, and frankly, about themselves. Donald Trump sold us a bill of goods. I mean, what choice did we have? We had Kamala Harris, who was selling us nuclear war with Russia, and we had Donald Trump, who said, hey, vote for me, and I believe in peace. And you're like, well, we got nuclear war. That sucks. Donald Trump, he's a con man, a liar, orange-faced bastard, but he's the only one saying, I'm promoting peace. I don't want wars. I don't want forever wars. I want this. So, well, yeah, okay. Vote for you. And now look at us. We're in the war he promised he wouldn't deliver. Now, he may be able to get something. The Russians may be able to cook up some sort of scheme where he could declare himself to be the greatest peacemaker ever. Some grand bargain where, we compel Ukraine into accepting conflict termination on Russia's terms. And, we can, bring an end to this war, but get a nuclear deal out of it with Iran. And then the president can say, it was because of me. I started this war to make peace possible. And now I'm bringing the boys home. And the American people normally would say, it's all a con. You lost. But the American people are stupid. We have enough mouth breathers that constitute the MAGA base. They'll go, oh, Donald Trump's the greatest thing that ever sliced bread. Sliced bread, Donald Trump's better than sliced bread. And they'll say this is genius, and maybe they'll continue to vote for the guy. But the bottom line is we're getting our asses kicked, and the world's paying the price.
Scott, you mentioned the GCC countries. So Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and more. What's the future hold for these countries now after this is all over?
Well, if this conflict doesn't end, not much. I mean, let's just be brutally honest here. Every one of those nations you mentioned are ruled by fat, corrupt men who haven't worked an honest day's labor in their life. And they live off the revenue generated by their oil, and they trickle some of that down to keep their fellow Arabs happy. But the United Arab Emirates, I mean, everybody's like, they're the Sparta of the Middle East. Bullshit. Spartans fought for Spartan. I mean, whatever you thought of Sparta, when you pulled apart the Spartan army, they were all Spartan men. You pull apart the United Arab Emirates army, and 85% of them are Pakistani. It's like, dude, can't you guys fight for yourselves? No, they don't know how to fight. They don't want to fight. Dig a ditch in the UAE. So we got to dig a ditch across the street. You won't find a single Emirati digging a ditch. They'll be sitting up there sniffing perfume and sitting in air conditioning and doing whatever the hell they do, planning their next pedophile trip to someplace, because they're all just a bunch of degenerates. Because that's what happens when you have unlimited amount of money and nothing to spend it on. These are not good people. There's a handful. Every once in a while, you get the one that says, I feel guilty, so I'm going to build the Louvre in the Middle East because I'm such a great person. You're building it because you're trying to attract financial business to keep yourself stable. It's not about your love of art. It's just, you feel guilty for, raping your Filipino housemaid, because that's what you do when you're a rich Arab. You bring in the Filipinos, you bring in the Thais, and you rape their women, and you bring in the men and you abuse them, you murder them. Look at when they did the World Cup, what happened there, all the labor abuses and all. These aren't good people. This is why I told General Matt Caulfield at the beginning of Desert Storm, when it was still Desert Shield, I said, we're fighting the wrong Arabs. We should be allied with Iraq. The Iraqis are the good Arabs. You know why they're good? Because they actually do their own work. The Iraqis are out there rolling up their sleeves, doing their own work. Yes, sure, they hired expatriates. Everybody does. You have manpower shortage and all that stuff. But the bottom line is, the Iraqis, if they needed a ditch dug, they'd be all out there digging that ditch. The Iraqi men, they worked their butts off. The Iraqi army was Iraqi soldiers, Iraqi men. And they were manly. I mean, we beat them, but those bastards were brave. I mean, you got to give it to them. They're in a T-72 that's outgunned by an M1. You don't back down. You sit there and you fire your gun at maximum range, trying to engage the Americans, knowing that eventually they're going to kill you with something. And we did, but they didn't run away. These bastards in the Gulf, they run away. I remember trying to get them motivated to go up to liberate Kuwait after we did all the heavy lifting. And they just got scared. I mean, damn, one Iraqi artillery, bam, where's the Arabs? They're gone. They're gone. They're not brave. They're not brave at all. There's no courage there at all. And so they're going to collapse. If you take away their resources, these fat people, and I used to be invited to the Middle East a lot. I was invited to speak at Think. I will never be invited there again because of what I'm saying, but I don't care. I'll go to visit Iran any day of the week. I'll go visit Iraq any day of the week before I visit one of these pathetic nations again, because they are corrupt, and they're the ones that made this happen. They're the ones that bought it. They should have said no to the United States years ago when we said we're going to create a Sunni-Shia split. They should have said, nope, we ain't doing that. Iran's our neighbor. We're going to learn to live in peace and harmony with the Iranians, instead of buying into this notion that we're going to have permanent war in the Persian Gulf. Permanent war. That's what they bought into. And they didn't realize that we were doing that to gin up military sales. You see, you got to have permanent state of conflict. And then you say, you need these sexy weapons. And they go, wow, these are sexy weapons. We really need them. And they buy those sexy weapons. Then they find out they don't work, which you're finding out right now. So I think, Ernest, who does the bell toll? the bell tolls for thee, and thee is the Gulf Arab states. I think many of them are vulnerable. This is going to be a game changer for them. I'm not saying that the House of Saud is going to fall tomorrow, but this is a wake-up call about their vulnerability. I think some of these houses may not survive much longer. I think Bahrain's definitely on shaky ground, and I think the United Arab Emirates is far more shaky. When the expatriates flee and the banking sector closes down, these guys are going to be sitting there with the tallest building in the world and nobody living in it. So good on them.
Scott, you have seen firsthand the damage that these bombs, missiles can do to a country. Of course, the internet's been down for a few weeks now in Iran. Minimal photos are coming out. What kind of destruction are we talking about here that the Americans and the Israelis have done to Iran? Can you just give us an idea? I mean, almost everybody in the chat has probably never even seen a building impacted by even a bullet, let alone a missile. But what kind of destruction has America done and Israel done to this country?
Well, we're bringing in some of the most destructive weapons available in the conventional arsenal. We do better than just about anybody. Russians are pretty good at it. I think the Chinese might be good at it, but we never tested them. But we build bombs that go boom. When they go boom, they destroy. And we tailor these bombs to destroy certain things. So we can penetrate concrete, we can go underground, we can do all this stuff. And we're very good at that. But, you got to be careful about patting yourself on the back with the try. I'll give you an example, just drawn from experience. Mm-hmm. In Desert Storm, we were, one of the things we were targeted of doing on day one was to take out the Iraqi Scud capability. First of all, mobile launchers, we're supposed to do that, fixed arm launchers. But then we're also take out their missile production capabilities. And we had targets all over the place. We've been tracking them for a long time. We knew where they were. And so we began making things go boom, because that's what we do. We sent in this stuff, and we did airplanes, we sent in cruise missiles, and things went boom, 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 boom. Aren't we really good? Boom, 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 boom. And this stuff was destroyed. I went in as a weapons inspector afterwards, spent 7 years, investigating Iraqi missiles. And in the early years, we would go to the places that we made go boom. And I remember during the war, one of my jobs was to look at the places that went boom and go, did we destroy it sufficiently? If yes, it's off. If not, hit it again. Boom, 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 boom. Yay. Oh, we got it this time. Good. And you tuck it away. And we did such a good job bringing them down. I mean, the same numbers you hear. Oh, we degraded 95% of the Iraqi ballistic missile production capabilities because we're good at making things go boom. And the Iraqis were like, yeah, okay. And when I was told by an Iraqi general afterwards, he said, Mr. Scott, you guys are really good at blowing up buildings. I mean, we ain't never seen anything like it. We made a lot of things go boom. You know what we're really good at? We're really good at pouring concrete. So after you made it go boom, we pour concrete and it sort of comes back. And he said, the difference is when you made it go boom, there was nothing inside that building. We evacuated everything. And when our concrete cures, we're putting that stuff back in the building and we'll be right back into business. And this is the point I'm trying to make. The Iranians have been preparing for this war for 20 years. I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that every time Iran builds a defense industrial facility, when they install the equipment, they have a rapid evacuation plan in place, which means that that big computer-controlled numeric controlled lathe that they put in there isn't in there so hard that it can't be moved. Nope. You could ding, 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 take the bolts, lift it, put it on a truck, and off it goes into a hide site in the middle of the mountain where it sits down in a storage facility, and they'll be sitting there making sure dust is off of it, keep it in pristine working condition. They may even have electricity there so they can keep it powered up so that the systems don't, degrade over time. There's nothing in these buildings we're bombing. So 1,000 points of, points on a map going boom every day, Pete. You're not killing anything. And when this war ends, the Iranians will pour concrete and they will rebuild what we've been destroying, and they will put everything back in, and they will be back up to about 90% of what they were when this thing started. That's the truth. Iran will recover from this war far quicker than we will. We're expending the totality of our long-range precision strike weaponry. It was estimated that we had around 600 Tomahawk missiles loaded up on the Navy outside of Iran. And it's also estimated that we fired about 600 of them. So we don't have any more. And so now we got to get reloaded. But the facility in the Middle East is no longer available to us because it went boom thanks to Iran. Now we have to go to Crete or go back to the United States. And we have a couple thousand of these in storage, so we'll put 600 more on there and send it out. This war's not going to end, so we'll fire 600 more. The bottom line is, by the time this war is done, we'll have cycled through more than 50% of our Tomahawk capability and lost this war. Now imagine if you're Chinese and you're going, Taiwan. Yeah, I don't know if we want to do Taiwan because the United States got a lot of Tomahawk missiles. Hell, we had the admiral tell us how many Tomahawk missiles he had. Now the Taiwanese are going, or the Chinese are going, well, they have 50% less, and they didn't do anything. We're not so worried about that. The joint standoff munitions that the B-52s and the B-2s and the B-1s and everybody's firing, we're cycling through about 60 to 80% of those. When this war ends, we will have no long-range strike capability, and we don't have the ability to produce it. The president sat there and said, I've talked to defense industry, and we're going to start producing more. Really? Has Congress passed that budget? Last time I checked, they haven't. And that defense industry isn't in the business of doing things out of an act of kindness. Lockheed Martin's like, don't worry, Mr. President, we're going to spend $15 billion building infrastructure, and we just hope that Congress passes that money. No, they're not. And once they get the money, you got to go through site surveys. Where are you going to put the factory? You just don't. Where are you going to put the factory? You got to do site surveys. You got to get the land permits. Then you got to do, hazmat mitigation. I mean, all the things that go into that, power supply. Then you got to build the building to a specific standard. And you got to get the equipment that you haven't bought yet. So you got to order it, bring it in. You got to train the people to operate the equipment. They got to have security clearances. And here's the toughest part. You got to have the raw materials that comes in and gets turned into missiles. And you know what we use a lot of? Stuff that comes exclusively from China. And you know who isn't going to be thrilled about providing us all that stuff? China. The Chinese are sitting there going, wait a minute, so the timeout, America, you just fired all the weapons that we were concerned about. Thank you. We're firing at somebody else. And now you want to rebuild your stockpile so you can threaten us again. But you need our help to do it. Now, you live in China. Are they stupid people? Are they the dumbest people on the planet? Are they people that go, yep, we'll do that. We'll give you what you need so you can build the weapons to threaten us. We'll do that. I don't think so. I don't think the Chinese got to where they are by being stupid. And so the president's just smoking dope, literally smoking dope. None of this is going to happen. None of it's going to happen. His words mean nothing. We have to talk about harsh reality. He has short-term pain. Man, we are into long-term pain for no gain. That's the truth.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that clip. But where does China, when all of this is over or even midway through, is China, as you say, are they calculating? Are they thinking, okay, America may have lost its almighty military power. Are they going to be more dominant factor in the world? Your thoughts? Or is China just going to stay focused on business like they've been doing for the last 50 years?
Look, you're the Chinese expert. I'm not. I look at China from afar.
Right.
But this is my assessment. Now, you could get Carl Jha on here and call me an idiot and an asshole and an American who doesn't know shit about anything. That's fine. Carl, I agree. I'm an idiot. I'm an asshole, an American. I don't know shit about anything. But I imagine China didn't get to where it is by knee-jerk reactions. I imagine that China has a strategic plan, a long-term plan. And I imagine that plan is founded on the concept of stability, that When China starts building global supply chains and starts creating relationships, it does so on the premise that there will be stability, predictability. Now, this is also the Russian model. For all the people out there thinking that Russia is an agent of chaos, they're the opposite. Russia is an agent of stability because stability brings predictability. Predictability is the fuel that drives the Russian diplomatic engine. And I would say the Chinese are the same way. And so what's happening right now, yes, they can sit there and chuckle how they benefit, but this is not good for China. A lot of uncertainty comes out of this. First of all, there's been energy supply disruption. The Chinese, I would imagine, I can't speak for China. I wouldn't want to. Carl, you can jump in anytime you want to and speak for China on my behalf. But I would imagine that China wouldn't. I apologize. I'm not in a good mood right now. So
we're loving you. We're loving you, Scott. We're loving you.